So guys, I decided to actually pause and show you the paper illustration of how the closure ventilation is supposed to look like. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Let's say this is the body of the closure. Basically, this is trying to imitate this. That's this side. So we ventilated here, here. Basically, we ventilated down to the end here. Closing is basically how you ventilate this side. That's what a closing is supposed to say. This is the center pattern. So for closing of closure, we are trying to imitate like a straight line pattern. We are trying to imitate this line here because as you guys know, there's no horizontal line like this on a net. If you look closely, the holes on the net are like this. There's no clear one like this. The lines are like this. The lines are not like this. So for you to get a clear hole like this, what we usually do is we do up, down, up, down, up, down. Basically, for you to do a straight line pattern is up, down, up, down, up, down. So this up creates a straight line, this down creates a straight line. Most times for this one, it now depends on what you want to use. So basically, once I do the straight line pattern here, I don't usually ventilate it down. I'll just leave it down. Because if you're ventilating it down now, it's not going to pass the line. This is where you want the line to end. So I don't ventilate it down. I'll do just the up. By the time I do the up, I will leave it down. I'll do the up. If you leave it down, you do another up. Once you do that up, you continue the diagonal pattern. You leave it down, you do the up. Once you do another up, you continue the diagonal pattern. Leave it down, do the up. Once you do the up, continue the diagonal pattern. Diagonally until you get to the center pattern. You just do until you get here, you do until you get here. Do you guys understand? If you notice, it is still giving that one line spacing pattern. This space is in between is a one line spacing. It still follows the one line spacing pattern down to the end. That's exactly what I'm doing here. The only reason why it's looking scanty like this is because I don't have the patience to follow it down to the end. If I have the patience to follow it down to the end, it goes down to the end. Can you guys see that the one line spacing is still there? So basically, that's what it takes. The first I do for you guys, this is entirely like 2 a.m. and I'm just trying to get like a perfect illustration for this. So basically, I try to use something like this to imitate this. So these are how the holes are. When I'm saying up, down, I'm not saying you should do like this and come and do like this. Like, this is what I mean, down. Okay, let's use down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Like, the distance, they are very close to each other. I'm not saying you should go and do like this and then go and do this. So it will be very, very noticeable. You see that your line is not aligning. For it to be a straight line pattern, I see that what I mean by, okay, there's supposed to be under up here. Let me do under up here now. Basically, this under up. Can you see that this 3 is going to form a line? If I'm doing the down, this one is going to form a line. These ones are going to form a line. And these ones are going to form a line. Sorry, this is not a beginner-friendly tutorial. If you've watched my other ventilation videos and you're still having problem with closing of closure, that's when this video applies. If you want like a detailed tutorial, I have something like that and I'll link it down here. So please do check that out. This is not a beginner-friendly tutorial at all. Basically, you've done your one-line spacing to get to this point. This side, you're still continuing with a one-line spacing. But instead of the one-line spacing being like this, it's like this. You get that down now that it not ventilates now. It's going to serve as the one line. Do you understand? This is the center part. This is the left side of the closure. It's not left, I mean right. This is the right side of the closure. This is the left side of the closure. By the time you do this and you do the center part, that is this side that I'm closing. Can you guys see that I'm closing only this side? By the time I close this to the center part, this one side, this is this. This center is this center. By the time I close this side, then I will now start from here again, from this side and do the same thing. Do you guys get now? Please, if you have any questions, leave it down in the comment section.
Hi guys, so from the way I've explained and used the paper illustration and everything, I don't feel like my voiceover is needed anymore because the whole paper illustration has done justice to the whole explanation of how to close a closure. But then I just still needed to show you guys the practical illustration so you can see it for yourself. If you
can look closely this place, I left that line I was ventilating and came to start from the back again. Why I'm just doing this just because it feels faster to me. If I do short, it feels like the closing is progressing better. It's not because of any reason whatsoever. You could finish your line and you could leave it halfway. It doesn't matter.
I know someone here will still come here and remind me of frontal. I know I promised a frontal video, and I promise you I will soon start working on that. But I came here to explain something. You know, the thing about this ventilation is that the little things make a whole lot of difference. Now, this closing of closure may seem very minute and it may not seem like a big deal, but then if your closure is not closed well, it makes your closure look very tacky. So also, if your center parting is not done right, it makes the closure look very tacky. These are the little things you need to consider that makes the bigger picture better. Do you understand? Another up close shot. Can you guys see how it's going?
So guys, I went ahead to do this side off camera, but I left this side to come and explain how I'm going to close this side. You guys understood how I was able to close this side. Can you guys see that this place has like a step down? I did not follow this line, this thing. Basically, I did not do it in a straight line. I mistakenly steps down, and even if it's a mistake, this closure is not ending here. I still have a 1-inch frontal effect to do, so I could always correct that in the frontal effect area and to cover it up, it won't show. But if it's like a center parting, normal center parting 2x4, 2x6 closure, if it's a mistake like this you made, you have to correct it. Can you guys see that it's not a straight line? It stepped down, just a line. So I don't know how I made that mistake. It was when I was filming, so. But basically, it's a correctable mistake. But when you're ventilating this side there, it's very hard to figure out how to ventilate this side comfortably. So why I do that works for me is that I just turn it like this. If you've not watched my video on direction, I don't know which one is dropping first, but you will understand better. But for you to be able to direction towards this side, turning it like this is the baba. This is the easiest method to direction towards this side, and it helps. When I'm ventilating towards this side, it's not hard to keep it. It depends on whether you're left-handed or you're right-handed. So either ways can work. Just find what's comfortable for you. But personally for me, I am right-handed. So when ventilating towards this side, I could leave it straight and I don't have an issue. But when I'm ventilating towards this side, I bend it. So also my base, this closing. When I'm ventilating my closing, I'm bending it. So basically, I'm just putting my strength to continue like this. I'll show you guys just briefly how I'm able to close up this area and stuff, but I just came to explain that so you guys understand what I've done up till here.
You might be wondering why these diagonal lines that I'm ventilating that are supposed to get to the center parting, some of them are getting to the center parting, some of them are not getting to the center parting. I promise you they will all get to the center parting at the end. It's just faster and it seems easier in my head, just ventilating everything halfway, and that way you see your progress better, because these lines are long. This is a 5x5, I think. Yeah, this was a 5x5 closure. So if it's a 2x4, it's easy to close because the width is very short. But a 5x5, the width is quite long, so I just leave the diagonal lines halfway, then I later go back to close the line. It just seems faster in my head.
So let me come on here and explain the last time. Like I said, when it comes to this closing of a closure, you focus mainly on that last line there. So once you're able to establish that, okay, the last line, you ventilated everything
and it's on a straight line, you continue in a diagonal pattern. So you do a straight line pattern. Once you've seen that there's a space for one line spacing, you continue in a diagonal pattern. So you do on one box, then you do up, you leave the down, then you do the up. So the down up you're doing, you ventilate it to the end to the center parting. You leave the down, do the up, that up you ventilate it to the center part. That's basically the explanation of what a closing of a closure is about. Truthfully, it may seem kind of confusing the first 2 times you do it, but once you get the hang of it, you can actually do it in your sleep and not make a mistake. I still made a mistake, I know, but in my defense, I was actually focusing more on the filming than the mistake I made.
So guys, I'm done with the closing of the closure. Can you guys see the mistake I was talking about here? It's not that serious of a mistake. It's something that I could correct by the time I do the frontal effects, but basically I closed the closure.